Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here then hi, my name is Miss Paris and I'm a newly qualified primary school teacher here in the UK. Sorry for my absence. Christmas is kind of chaotic in the last few weeks and I just thought it would be nicer to kind of do a nice relaxed video when everyone is off for Christmas. Just a bit more relaxed hopefully. I've got my blanket because it's absolutely freezing in here, and I've also got my German little festive mug. You can see that, it's quite cute, but do not be deceived, I don't drink hot drinks, so this is actually just squash. But you know, I'm being transparent, I'm relaxed, so hey ho. I thought I would come on here and tell you some lessons I learned during my PGCE year. So this was from 2019 to 2020. I qualified in July 2020 and I just thought I'd put some of my thoughts into one video. When I put a poll out asking what you guys would prefer, this was what the majority of you asked for, so here I am doing it. But if you do like it, then make sure to either let me know in the comments or give this a like, because I'm sure I could probably do a lot more lessons. So the first lesson is very much about learning, and I don't mean us teaching the children, I mean us learning ourselves. Whether you are a training teacher or an NQT teacher, you are always learning, and I found it so interesting that you could come in, especially in placements, come in every single day and learn something new, whether that's a new behaviour management tool or whether that's a new form of assessment, or you have a new experience with some new children, or maybe you take part in a staff meeting and you learn loads of new content around pedagogy or a certain subject. And especially in primary, which is what I qualified in, you're learning new things every single day. And when I do subject release time now as part of my current position, and I suddenly get thrown into RE in year 6, and I'm like, I haven't done this since year 6. You know, you are continuously learning, and I think that's something that's really truly amazing and cannot be underestimated, because it's such a journey, and this is only the start really. My second lesson is to always have somebody that you can talk to. And I know that we normally have like family and friends that we can talk to, but with this lesson I mean especially with somebody that you can talk to who understands you, who can support you, who can guide you. I know a lot of people have, well, everyone has a mentor and a tutor, but they might be lovely, but you may not necessarily feel that you can go to them all the time. So even if it's one of your skit colleagues and you're saying, okay, how did you do this lesson plan? Am I doing just too much? I don't understand. Or whether you go to maybe another member of staff at the school, or whether it is your, I don't know, friend who just happens to be a teacher. I don't know, but make sure you have at least 1 or 2 people that can really be your rock throughout this, because as much as family and friends can be incredible, they don't necessarily understand what it's like and what your difficulties are, or how to help you. So they can be a great listening ear, but try and find that one person that you can kind of go to. My third lesson, and this is quite a personal one, but it might apply to you guys and you might see it applying to you in future perhaps, but if you haven't watched my story time video, I will put an image here. But I received a lot of criticism during my training year, and I began to over-analyse and kind of over-reflect to the point that I never saw anything positive in a lesson. And as I was nearing kind of, well, the end of my placement before we were kicked out for lockdown, I started to have really good lessons, and every single time I would come to my mentor, reflect on it and be like, oh, that was awful, I didn't do this, and this child was doing this, and she was like, yeah, but that always happens in a lesson. Actually, that was a really good lesson. But I was just so used to the negatives, and obviously we always have to reflect on our lessons, so I was used to reflecting and combining the negatives into just this negative bubble of a lesson, and actually I stopped being able to see the positives. And I think that's really important to try and avoid, because the positives is kind of not only what keeps you going mentally, kind of thinking, okay, you know, this wasn't the best lesson, but so many positives came from it. This person made progress. This child, you know, really enjoyed it and they were engaged knowing they hate maths, etc, etc. If you don't see that, then you kind of lose motivation quite quickly. But the other thing about looking at the positives is that you know what to repeat in future. If you know what went well and you know what the positives were, to my next lesson. And also I've noticed that it can really help when you are feeling a major case of imposter syndrome. It was quite funny, I was talking to a friend of mine who isn't a teacher, not at all in the education field, and they were like, what do you mean imposter syndrome? But yet when I'm on teaching Instagram, teacher Twitter, I see this term used so much. And I think if we don't look at the positives and we are always looking at the negatives, no wonder we can doubt ourselves and kind of question our ability to be a good teacher and question our ability to teach children, essentially. So look at the positives and don't get bogged down by the negatives of a lesson, because every negative is obviously a learning curve anyway, and you learn from your mistakes, so it's a good thing. Okay, lesson number 4 is about the pace in which you do things. Now, I probably am not the only one. I know some people who are still kind of taking ages with their lesson plans and thinking, am I doing this right? I'm spending all my time just writing out a formal lesson plan. But with practice, you do start to get a little bit quicker. You do start to improve your ability to think on the spot or improvise. Or if a child comes up to you really, really early and says, I'm done, and you haven't prepared a challenge, you start to grow in confidence to be able to say, oh, why don't you try this? Or have you checked for this in your work? And almost avoiding this extra worksheet, extra challenge for them, you kind of grow in confidence and you get quicker at, you know, like I said, improvising, lesson planning, writing out the lesson plans, marking. Now marking, just, it takes ages, and I did make a video about marking tips to try and kind of reduce that extra workload without actually reducing the amount you mark. I'll leave a picture of that here as well as in the description. But yeah, you do get quicker. So if you find yourself with a kind of appalling work-life balance, in which case check out some of my other videos. But if you find yourself in that position and you find yourself kind of thinking, how on earth am I going to manage in my NQT here when right now I'm only teaching 50% of the time and I'm spending every single free minute I have, you will get quicker and you will be able to start to simplify your planning because you grow in confidence of what you're doing and what comes next and the structure of your lessons. So please rest assured about that, because practice just makes it go a lot quicker and that will reduce your workload and you'll just feel better, really. You just feel better. Okay, my last lesson, lesson number 5, that I learned and I continue to kind of be reinforced with this lesson is that each child and each class is different. For example, I have 3 classes of reception to year 6, and I noticed that even though I'm doing the same lesson 3 times with, you know, each group in the year, when I go to one year 2 class versus another, they are so different. And even though it's the same content, I find myself using different behavior management tools. I find myself doing different maybe games if I can sense that they're just, you know, their concentration is lingering and they're just not going to get to the end. You know, I am happy to kind of improvise on the spot. And my point is with this lesson is that each child and each class is different. So seize the opportunity to try new things. If a teacher has a particular routine that you've never done before, or you've never tried that chant before, like beans on toast, or, you know, they do something specific to get their attention, try those things out, because you don't know, you might be using them in your future class. Also the same thing with key stages, whether you're in 1, 2, EYFS, key stage 3, 4, but each key stage is different, and so really seize that opportunity whenever you are in placements, especially if you are doing the uni route and you might have more placements than somebody who's doing school direct. Then just try different things. Don't be scared of failure, because that kind of creates a kind of hesitant mindset, like, oh, if I do this then it might go wrong, or it might not, you know, go my way. But then if it does go well and you never tried it, then you will never feel confident to do so when you're by yourself in the classroom, because you have a mentor there to support you as well if anything goes wrong. So really just take the time to get to know every child, take the time to explore different classes, you know, even if it's just for a day observing somebody else or another teacher, because every single child and every single class is different. And I've said that about 4 times now, but it is so true. And especially now that I'm teaching 600 pupils, I'm absolutely blown away by the difference even just moving 2 doors down can make on my entire lesson and the delivery of my lesson. So those are my 5 lessons that I learnt during my PGCE year and that I can continue to relate to, and that I can continue to relate to now in my current job. I do wish you, I'm not sure if I'm going to do another video, but if I don't, I do wish you a good rest, a good break. If you do believe in Christmas, then Merry Christmas. If you do not, then just take the time to relax and try and enjoy these 2 weeks off. I will see you soon, and remember, if you like this video, then please give it a like. I might do a part 2, who knows, and subscribe for more teacher related content. See you soon. Bye!